What if I told you that you don't need to microdose or take a single substance to rewire your brain? That you can access the same neurochemical magic through the practice of meditation? A new UC San Diego study proves what yogis have known for thousands of years, that meditation, deep meditation, profoundly changes your body and brain chemistry. I've experienced this myself during an 8-day meditation retreat. My brain literally rewired itself permanently, and a lifelong fear that had crippled me for years disappeared. Let's explore how science has finally caught up to what yogis have been teaching for centuries. Hi, my name is Michelle Fondin. I'm the author of 12 published books, including my latest book, The 8 Limbs of Yoga for Modern Times, a practical guide to the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and Enlightened Medicine, Your Power to Get Well Now, an integrative approach to healing the 7 deadly lifestyle diseases. And in this book, in chapter 9, I outline scientific evidence of the benefits on the body, mind, and brain that meditation provides, just like this study that we are gonna dive deeply into in a minute. I'm also a meditation teacher. I've been meditating for 18 years this month in November of 2025. I've been a meditation teacher since 2009. I am a Vedic master, and I teach meditation online on demand. If you would like to learn and get your personalized Vedic mantra with me, I have a special promotion for you this week. Take $75 off with the promo code P75. You can click on the link below and start today. P75 for $75 off. If you are new to this channel, I want to welcome you here. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Let's dive into this study. Now, this study was released by UC San Diego in an article dated November 6th of 2025. So this is a relatively new posting as of this date of recording, which is 11/11/2025. This study was led by some research teams. There are a few of them, so I'm not going to name them all. But the meditation retreat that was studied was a 7-day meditation retreat that included other mind-body practices. The participants, which were around 500, they meditated for 33 hours that week, which really equates to about 3 to 4 hours of meditation per day, plus other mind-body practices. The meditation retreat was led by Joe Dispenza, which is a little bit weird because one of the grants that were given to do the research for this study was from Joe Dispenza's company, but there were other people involved as well. There were around 500 participants, as I mentioned, and the study was done on 20 of those participants who were chosen at random. And for these 20 participants, they tested their brain functioning through brain scans, such as MRIs, and they did blood tests and plasma tests as well for immune function and heart regulation and neuroplasticity of the brain. And we will discuss those in just a minute. So I'm going to talk about the scientific proof, the findings that they found during this study, and I'm going to reference them in the description box below so you can check those articles out if you are interested in that. Now, why was this of interest to me, Michelle Fondin, author of 12 books? It was interesting to me because, as I mentioned in my Michelle Fondin author vlog number 19 that I posted earlier this week, I first learned how to meditate at a meditation retreat. My meditation retreat was 8 days instead of 7 days. And we also were meditating for 3 to 4 hours a day. And we were doing other mind-body practices, such as lectures on mind-body connection, as well as practicing yoga twice daily. So they were very similar in nature, and that's why I was intrigued to do this video on that study. Now, what is super fascinating, and stay tuned because there are 2 fascinating parts of this study that I want to talk about toward the end of the video because they kind of really tickled my fancy, so I want to talk about that. But scientists who were studying these participants, these 20 participants who volunteered, they found within days of this meditation retreat a reduction in stress hormones, an improvement in immune function, and inflammation markers, which was interesting because it wasn't like inflammation markers were that there was less inflammation. It's just that the inflammation factors or markers were regulated. So sometimes it was less inflammation, sometimes it was more inflammation, but those inflammation markers were definitely affected by this study. Now, one thing to note, what was fascinating was that the participants were followed for weeks after the week-long meditation retreat. And what they found was that these longevity effects, or the effects on the immune system, stress response hormones, and immune function, sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve systems, they were regulated for weeks after this initial meditation retreat. And that is what is actually fascinating about this study as well. The other part was on brain functioning and neuroplasticity of the brain. What I liked is that they actually took neurons in a petri dish and they took blood samples from the 20 participants and they injected the blood into these petri dishes with the neurons. And because of the functionality, this is so bizarre. I don't even know how this works. I'm not a scientist, you guys. But because of what was happening in the brain-body chemistry, blood chemistry, obviously, of these participants, the neurons actually grew in the petri dish if they were injected with the blood of the meditators. Super fascinating. And so the neuroplasticity of the brain as well created an effect, and I'm going to read the effect. Brain imaging showed increased connectivity in regions that regulate focus, emotion, and empathy. So that talks about which other parts of the brain, which is usually the prefrontal cortex, that is illuminated during meditation and immediately after a meditation practice. Here's what scientists found as proof of how meditation reprograms the brain and the body, and it does it really quickly. So the first thing that they found was just within the week of the meditation retreat, not necessarily waiting until weeks later, but just within the week, the stress hormones were turned off and the healing hormones were turned on or turned up in the body. So for healing and resilience of the body, creating a sense of calm and inner peace, those were turned on. The body's natural chemistry to create calm. Second, I mentioned the brain and the brain coming into synchronistic harmony. What we call in meditation circles unity consciousness, they called the synchronization of brain chemistry or brain functioning. The brain regions that control focus, as well as compassion and empathy, they began to synchronize during the meditation retreat. Now, after the meditation retreat, as they were following these yogis, weeks after the participants went home from that meditation retreat, they were tested again. And the effects lasted, such as a lot less anxiety, improved immune function, and improved emotional balance. Now, this suggests that meditation literally rewires the brain and the body and has lasting effects. Now, of course, it is my belief that in order to have those effects be lasting, it's really essential that you continue your meditation practice, even if you learn during a meditation retreat. And that's something certainly that I have done for 18 years. And it's something that I teach my students to do in immersion into meditation as well. But that is fascinating news that just by virtue of meditating, you can improve your immune function, reverse aging because the cellular health improves, that you increase brain function and the synchronistic effects of the brain working in synchronistic harmony together, all aspects of the brain, and that the fight or flight goes down and you move more into that state of inner peace. Now, I promised you I would provide you with some other findings, and one that is particularly interesting to me, as one thing that I've noticed is an increase in the use of drugs or psychedelics such as psilocybin, which is the key ingredient in magic mushrooms. So a lot of people today are microdosing to get the effects of meditation without actually meditating. Now, here is what they found during this study. The scientists found that the brain and body changes during intensive meditation retreats just as much, if not more, to what happens under psychedelic-assisted therapy. Here's what they found. Meditation activated the same neural pathways that psilocybin does, especially regions involved with self-transcendence, unity, and emotional release. Unlike psychedelics, though, meditation produces these results safely and sustainably. That's the most important point, is that in order to reach these states under psychedelics, you need to keep taking the psychedelics. But with meditation, you could have the repeated effects of meditation or even of taking the psychedelics without taking them. Participants in the deep meditation retreat, they reported ego dissolution, spiritual insight, compassion, and bliss, similar to what people say they experience while under psilocybin, but obviously reached through meditation and not drugs. The brain imaging confirmed heightened connectivity between regions that normally quiet the ego and activate feelings of oneness. So deep meditation, obviously, and this is something I've been saying for years, actually. And when I say to people who say they want to try magic mushrooms, they want to microdose, they want to do this, my response is always, you need to learn meditation, because meditation basically does that. And you don't have to take anything. You don't have to go on a journey, and you don't have to be under the advisement of a leader or a teacher, because once you learn meditation, you learn it on your own. And no other guidance is needed, just your inner guidance. So you know what's so cool is that your own inner medicine is activated from within. Now here is another tidbit that I read in the article that I didn't put down on paper, but the body's natural opioids or pain relieving chemicals also increased during this meditation retreat. So your body has a natural pharmacy within. Now, here is the last point I'm going to say, which I found super fascinating in this study, is that the participants were given a placebo, it's called free placebo pills or capsules, where they knew that they were placebo. So it was an open placebo study. So I don't really get it, but I found it really fascinating. So they did an open placebo study during this week-long meditation retreat. So here's what they found. Even when people knew they were taking a fake pill, many still experienced the same improvements in mood, anxiety, and focus as those in the meditation group. This demonstrates that expectation and intention can spark real, measurable physiological results, what scientists call the open placebo effect. The placebo group's benefits were shorter lived than those produced by the meditation retreat. The meditation, obviously the effects lasted much longer and they were more sustainable, but it's just an interesting piece to show that even by the power of suggestion, that your brain and body can rewire itself. If they're like, take this pill and it'll make you meditate more. And someone's like, oh, it's a sugar pill. But just take it anyway. It'll make you go deeper into meditation. So I found that like super fascinating that people were getting a very similar effect by taking a placebo versus doing the real thing. After 18 years of meditating with a mantra-based meditation technique, I can tell you, I'm firsthand, I can tell you that meditation works, that it works on many levels. Not only the body, your health, your immune system, your stress levels, your mind, your emotions, your sleep patterns, your relationships. It improves with so many parts of your life through the practice of meditation. But of course, you don't need to take my word for it. There are scientific studies now that show you this same thing through the same results with other people. But if you are interested in getting all of the benefits of meditating, just meditating, it's so easy once you learn. If you're interested in getting the benefits of meditation, having a deep meditation practice that you can do day in and day out without the need for drugs, without the need for going on a journey or going on a trip to South America to drink ayahuasca, if you want to know how to access your body's healing chemicals, your body's natural opioids, then come and meditate with me. And I will teach you through your personal mantra. Again, you can take $75 off with the promo code P75. The links are all below to sign up. But I hope this convinced you a little bit more about the healing effects of doing deep meditation and learning meditation from a genuine level and practicing it, because it is so much healthier than so many of the alternatives out there. And really, you're worth it, right? You are worth it. Now, finally, something I did not mention is that the participants in this study were given a quiz after, if you will, asking about their mystical experiences during the meditation retreat. And the mystical experiences or the spiritual part of things were increased by about a third or 33% than before they had the retreat. Now, granted, some of these participants were already meditators, some were brand new meditators, but those mystical experiences or those coincidences and synchronicities and feelings of connectedness, enlightenment, unity, consciousness increased by 33%. So if you really just want to get into meditation for the spiritual aspects of it, totally worth it as well. So I hope this was helpful. If you're intrigued, do check out the articles. I did put the links below to the articles so you can check them out. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. Thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this with others who might be intrigued about meditation, but still very skeptical, and they want the scientific proof. Thanks so much for your support of my channel. You can purchase some of my published books. You can join the course online I just spoke about, and I will see you in the next video.